All right, let's talk about Hedera. You've probably heard of it. It's this super high-performance network that's not quite your typical blockchain. And right at its core is this unique coin HBAR. Now, HBAR does way more than just sit in a wallet. It actually has a job to do. In fact, it has two jobs that are absolutely critical for powering and protecting the entire network. So yeah, let's get into it.
So it kind of begs the question, right? What really gives a digital coin its purpose? Forget all the speculation and just thinking of it as money. For a network like Hedera, its native token, the HBAR, is designed from the ground up to be a key part of the machine. It's not just some asset, you can think of it like an employee with a very specific job description. So let's take a look at HBAR's resume, shall we? It's a coin with two very distinct jobs, and once you understand these two roles, you pretty much get the big picture of the whole Hedera network. Okay, so what is HBAR exactly? Well, it's the native crypto of the Hedera network. But look at the key verbs here. It's used to power apps, build payment models, and protect the network. See, these are all active roles, which is what makes its whole economic model so fascinating. And this visual just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got HBAR as network fuel, the energy that makes the whole system go. And on the other, you have network protection, the shield that keeps it all safe. Let's break down that first one, fuel. So job number one, network fuel. The easiest way to think about it is like gas in your car. If you want to do anything on the Hedera network, I mean anything, like submitting a transaction, running a smart contract, storing a file, you've got to pay a tiny little fee in HBAR. This fuel is what pays the computers or the nodes that are actually doing all the work. And here's a look at how that fuel actually gets used. A single transaction fee isn't just one lump sum. No, it's actually split into three little parts. There's a node fee that goes to the specific computer that handled your request. Then you have network and service fees that go into a treasury, which then compensates all the nodes for keeping the system running in an agreement. It's a really efficient flow of value. So how much fuel are we talking about here? Well, a typical transaction costs 1/100th of a cent. And no, that's not a typo. This cost is so incredibly low that it makes HBAR absolutely perfect for micropayments. I mean, think about it. Paying a fraction of a penny to read one article online, or paying for a service per second you use it. These are business models that just are not possible on most other, more expensive networks. Okay, let's switch gears to HBAR's second job, network protection. And honestly, this is arguably its most critical role. It's not enough for a network to be fast and cheap, right? It has to be secure from attackers. And HBAR is the key that unlocks that security. Now, to really get how Hedera's security works, you have to know it uses something called a proof-of-stake system. This is totally different from proof-of-work networks like Bitcoin, which use just massive amounts of electricity for mining. Instead, proof-of-stake systems use the network's own coins as the scarce resource to keep it secure. It's just way, way more energy efficient and faster. So here's the crucial point. In pretty much any distributed network, there's this magic number. If some bad actor can get their hands on 1/3 of the total voting power, they can start to cause real trouble and stop the network from reaching an agreement. So the entire game is to make it impossibly hard for anyone to get to that 1/3. And this is how Hedera does it. Instead of the one node, one vote system, Hedera uses one HBAR, one vote. It's called coin-weighted voting. What this means is an attacker can't just spin up thousands of fake nodes to try and gain power. That's called a Sybil attack, and it just won't work here. To get 1/3 of the vote, they would literally have to buy 1/3 of all 50 billion HBAR in existence. That's what you call prohibitively expensive. This whole idea of making an attack just way too expensive leads us right into our next topic, the total supply of HBAR. Because the network's economics aren't just about what one coin does. They're about the careful, long-term management of all 50 billion of them. Right at the network's launch, a fixed supply of 50 billion HBAR was created. And that's it. Full stop. No more will ever be minted. This fixed supply is absolutely fundamental to the entire economic and security model of the network. And those 50 billion coins weren't just dumped on the market all at once. Oh no. They have a very specific allocation plan. You can see the vast majority, almost 55%, is held in the Hedera treasury. And then other chunks are allocated to early investors, the core teams, and for developing the ecosystem over a long period of time. And that distribution is deliberately slow. This release schedule is designed to make sure the circulating supply grows in line with the network's actual use and adoption. The goal here is stability and security. You want to make sure that as the network grows, no single person or group can easily scoop up that dangerous 1/3 threshold. So now, let's pull all these threads together, right? You've got the fuel, the protection, the fixed supply, the slow release. It's all part of this really careful, phased strategy to achieve true, secure decentralization over time. Hedera itself actually outlines 4 pillars for this path to decentralization. First, you need decentralized governance, which they have with their governing council. Second, you need real network utility. People have to actually use it. Third, you need a path to permissionless nodes, which means eventually letting anyone, not just approved members, help run the network. And maybe most importantly, you need wide coin distribution. Each one of these pillars supports the others. And look, this isn't just theory from a white paper. We can see these economics in action today. Right now, about a third of the entire circulating supply is actively staked to the network. That just means it's being used to help validate transactions and add to the network's security. That's over 16 billion HBAR participating in that coin-weighted voting we were just talking about. Ultimately, everything we've talked about really comes back to this one powerful idea from the source material itself. Wide distribution equals security. The entire economic model, from the fees to the release schedule, is engineered to achieve this one simple goal: protect the network for the long run. So, as you can see, HBAR really isn't just another coin. It's a tool with a very clear purpose, designed to both fuel and protect a network that's built for a new generation of applications. And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. On a platform that has this kind of foundation, what future will you build?